Chiefs is so hard to rate because, I've never seen a season or a coach that has strengths that are so strong, but weaknesses that are equally as weak. So, for example, you look at the Kaizer Chiefs and they create chances. I mean, this game, if you look at the raw stats of it, you see that the Kaizer Chiefs created 10, I believe it was 10 shots, and they got at least 6 of those on target. So that means that it's a team that creates. Over the season, I believe the Kaizer Chiefs is currently number 2 in terms of chances created, if I'm not mistaken. But because they don't finish it, you can't look at Coach Nabi and blame him. You can't look at Coach Nabi and say, it's your fault that these guys are not scoring, because they are getting into the positions to score, but they're not finishing it off. But at the same token, you praise him for that, and you praise the team for that, and for the effort that they give. But then on the weakness side, you look at it and you go, oh, but guys, how are you conceding as many goals as you've scored? How are you, I think, the team with the least clean sheets in the league? So there's that balancing act that you have to find where, is Nabi really the issue? Or are the players really the issue? But for me, it feels like it's a midpoint of the two. When you watch this Amazulu game, I don't think Amazulu were incredible. I think they set up very well. I think you cannot lie and say that the midfield of Motsware, Zungu, and Exteen is not experienced. In fact, they were very solid. I think that Justa and Mpahlele were not in this game. They were not to be seen. But for all of the chances that Chiefs created, it came down to 2 mistakes from Ofori. 2 mistakes from Ofori. And that is what took the game. That is what put Chiefs in the game. So I say all the time, the Chiefs is the team that creates chances and they're dangerous, but they just can't finish them. What do you do as a coach? But then you look at the goals that Amazulu scored. The way they just sliced through our midfield. Hot knife through butter. They just sliced through the midfield and scored almost open. And that's where I start questioning the coaching side of it. Mteto fine gave his all in the derby. Maybe he's not up for it. Maybe he's not fit for it. Fine. But when Kele and Mart took that midfield, I got flashbacks of Castillo and Mart. I got flashbacks of all of the different midfield doubles that we've tried, and we've come across the same issue. They're not communicating well enough for them to do this role of going back and forth. So essentially what's meant to happen is that we're meant to have such good communication that when one pushes, the other comes back. When the other pushes, the other comes back. When the other pushes, the other comes back. Right? But because our midfielders for some reason don't speak, they don't have that thing and they get caught out every single time. Sorry to interrupt the video that I'm sure you're enjoying, but I just wanted to say thank you for all of the support that you guys have shown me and my Overthinking Football platform. I'm a one-man band that's doing all of this, and I really do enjoy the comments about how, Supersport needs to come fetch me and SABC and all of that stuff. And I think it speaks to the quality of the content, but also the amount of effort that I put in. So I just wanted to say thank you. But the truth is that Abo Supersport and all of those guys, yes, we're competing with them, but it's a completely different place. The sponsors are looking for, or former players. And to be honest with you, running some of these things is getting so difficult, and things have changed at home. So financially, it's a whole different world. So I wanted to try something new and come to the overthinkers, the people who watch the content, and say it would be incredible if you guys could contribute monthly towards the platform, towards keeping my lights on, but also making sure that all of the crazy things that I want to do, that I want to take Supersport on with, I can actually do. And just for 20 Rand every month, I think that would be an incredible contribution if you can make it. It may sound like a little, but if we can get a lot of people behind it, then we'll be able to carry on doing what I do. I'll be able to carry on giving you the content and also expanding it, because we don't have shows like this, and us content creators need help from our audiences. So I just came here to ask you if you can. Here is the account number that you guys can use in order to contribute. And I think, yeah, I'd be very grateful if you would. But anyway, let's get back to the video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You look at our defense, man. You look at our defense. Do you know why Ditlokwe was so good at left back versus Pirates? It's because Ditlokwe doesn't have an attacking bone in his body. He doesn't want to go forward. He just wants to stay back. And that gives your defensive line a little bit of discipline. Because these two, Miguel and Dotli, but Miguel more specifically, love jumping out to danger. You know, when Amazulu scored, was it their first or the second goal? Anyway, the goal where Moremi went through. He went through a space where centre back is meant to be. Or at the very least, a left back is meant to come in. There's a space that I speak about with Kaizer Chiefs all the time, but it's the first time I've seen it exploited directly, like straight up. So then you look at the coach and you say, Mara coach, silungisa njani le nto? Because Chiefs is still a lopsided team. We look great attacking because we overload and overwhelm teams with the number of players that we're sending forward. Morris is in the box, Lilepo's on the side, Modi's running in, Shawalala's coming to join, Cross is coming to join. Like, we overwhelm them with the amount of players that we push at them, and it gives us a lot of chances. But on the off chance that that team gets it and transitions, I mean, Amazulu only had three shots on target this whole game. But the chances they created were so great that they took advantage of that. So that's another thing. Like when you look at the stats and you speak about the stats, yeah, Chiefs is creating chances and they have box entries. But when you look at the big chances created, that number is very low. And a big chance is basically a place where you have to score. It's an 80-90% chance that you're going to score. Chiefs creates almost the exact amount as the other team when they play them. So again, coaching. I mean, you could tell that Abu Atazwani had a plan, even though maybe Ofori let them down, but they had a plan of how to attack Chiefs, of how to get at them. And they were executing it outside again of those mistakes from Ofori. So then my mind goes back to Nabi and I say, if Atazwani is executing a plan in 3 months, or however long he's been in charge there, him and Coach Kanu, if Coach Caruso is reading a game and at the very least understanding his players enough that he can plug holes, you know, if the myriad of other coaches that take over halfway through the season or midway through the season can come up with plans, what of the guy that had all of the players signed for him? You've signed 8 players this season on top of the other players. Like, think about it. Just in our starting lineup today, Cross is new, Miguel is new, Dotli is new, Tel is new, Morris is new, Lilepo's new. On the bench, you have as other options, you have your Bloms who are new. Then the guys who are here, Sirino's new, Abo Potsane, Abo Mtetwa, Abo Chivavairo. A lot of these players were brought in the preseason 2 seasons. So we're playing with players, a team that is essentially completely different than what it was 2 years ago. So you've got new players and you can see the raise in quality. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Lilepo is an incredible player. I think Morris surprised me today. I didn't think that he'd be that active, that involved, that, you know, he played really well this game. But I look at the coach and I say, Mara coach, maybe it's time to put the pride aside and start playing some results-winning games. Because even this number 5 that we claim to be, when you look at it, Chiefs has played 16 games. We're about to play our 17th game on Friday. We've got 22 points. So Polokwane City has 15 games. They're 6 points ahead of us with a game in hand. Sekhukhune is 14 games. They've only played 14 games, so 2 games in hand. They're 2 points ahead of us, which means that if they were to hypothetically win those 2 games, they go to 30 points and 8 points ahead of us. Stellenbosch is behind us, number 6, but they've played 13 games, 20 points, 3 games in hand. That could be 29. Amazulu stays where they are because we've got the same amount of games. Cape Town City wins their game in hand. They go to 23. They jump Kaizer Chiefs. And you can even mention Golden Arrows to a degree. Would be on the same points, maybe on a different goal difference. So even on the league, the stats are saying that, yeah, this is meant to be good, Mara, in actual fact, it's not there. So Chiefs is in that very weird place that I don't understand. But what I will say is I did love the performances of Morris. I did love the performances of Lilepo. I do still love the effort that we give on attack. The effort that we give on attack is second to none. I think we've created the second most chances. We've scored, if not the third or fourth most goals in the league. So there is something there. Mara laphe emuva ngedefense. We're still lacking something there. I love that Mtetwa has made himself an irreplaceable player and has really put his hand up. The moment he came into that game, or the games that we've played up to this point, he's been very disciplined. And we've lacked that discipline midfield-wise. I'm still not sure what we want to do going forward because it feels like Chiefs is playing 3 different games in one. So like it's either we're building, you have to pick one. It's either you're building from the back and building through the middle and tiki-taka in that thing. It's either you're going wide and crossing the ball. In terms of what Morris was looking for, he was in the box a lot. He didn't want to leave that defensive line. Or you're playing inside forward play, where you have some mobile players who move around. It feels like we want to do all 3. And maybe we need to do something about that. Now, the reason why I say all of this, guys, is not baseless. Coach Nabi said in an interview that we could play low block. And we could go out and win games. We could easily go in, but we need to play attractive football. And maybe we need to go into results mode for a little bit here. And we know that these guys have it in them from the performances they've had sometimes in this season. You look at the Pirates game. Not the best, but it was way better than what we normally play. So 2-2 is not a bad score. 2-2 is not a bad thing to go away with. But in the context of the season, I think Chiefs needs to really look at themselves and get themselves on board because these 2 goals were given to us on a plate by Ofor. It wasn't given to us because of incredible play from Kaizer Chiefs. And I think that's an issue. But anyway, guys, 2-2, Kaizer Chiefs gets a point and lives to fight another day in preparation for Friday's game. I'll see you guys on the next one.